So let's just jump right in. Picture this. It's February 2026. The world's most powerful military has just achieved, well, total victory against Iran. We're talking days. Their Air Force? Gone. Their Navy? At the bottom of the ocean. It's a complete knockout. But then, just 4 weeks later, the global economy is in an absolute freefall. How does that happen? How do you win every single battle and still lose the war? Well, that paradox is exactly what we're going to unpack here.
See, at the end of these 4 weeks, with oil prices just going through the roof and the world in total chaos, a single, really cryptic message comes out of Iran's new leadership. The strait stays closed. And that one sentence reveals a kind of strategic defeat that absolutely no one saw coming.
So on day one, you have what looks like a completely flawless military operation, a textbook victory. But by day 28, a full-blown global economic crisis. Let's break down exactly how that perfect victory spiraled into a total disaster in less than a month.
Okay, so the plan. It was simple, almost elegant. The Americans called it decapitation. The idea, right, is you take out the leader, you expect the regime to just crumble, and boom, everybody goes home. It's pretty much the standard playbook.
And the execution was just overwhelming. I mean, at 6:45 in the morning, Israeli jets hit the supreme leader's compound. And then, in the hours that followed, the US and Israel together struck over 900 targets. We're talking nuclear sites, missile launchers, command centers. A truly massive show of force.
And you know what? It seemed to work. Iran's Air Force was basically neutralized, like, right away. By the 5th day of the fighting, 30 of their warships were sitting at the bottom of the sea. It was a complete and total rout of their conventional military.
So the official report comes back, and it says, quote, "We have achieved decisive military superiority across all domains." And look, technically, they weren't wrong. On paper, this was a perfect knockout punch.
But here's where the whole plan just goes completely off the rails. 'Cause, as it turns out, Iran doesn't fight on paper. The first critical miscalculation wasn't military, it was cultural.
They completely overlooked the concept of martyrdom. See, the 86-year-old supreme leader, he knew the strike was coming. He'd been battling cancer for years. He actually refused to take shelter. He chose to die at his desk with his family. In Shia Islam, that's not a defeat. That's a martyrdom. And the message that spread like wildfire was the blood of the supreme leader has made every Iranian a soldier.
So Iran's military response was immediate. Within 48 hours, they had completely decentralized their entire command structure. Every single region, every cell, they already had their pre-assigned orders and targets. So think about it. You can't decapitate something that no longer has a single head. The whole decapitation strike, it became strategically useless. Overnight.
But the cruelest irony of all, it's where the bombs fell. Cities like Tehran and Isfahan, these are home to Iran's most educated, most progressive populations. I mean, these are the very people who would be most likely to support a regime change from the inside. And they got hit hard. America basically just bombed its own potential allies and united the entire country against them.
And this is where the entire conflict just pivots. Iran's real counterattack, it wasn't aimed at the US military at all. Nope, it was aimed right at the global economy, right at the empire's wallet. So this raises a really good question, right? Iran starts hitting targets in Dubai, Bahrain, Qatar. Why? I mean, why go after these supposedly neutral Gulf states instead of just attacking America directly?
Well, the answer is something called the petrodollar system. It's kind of like the invisible scaffolding holding up the entire American economy. And it's a simple loop. Step 1. Gulf states sell their oil only in US dollars. Step 2. They take all those profits and reinvest them back into American stocks and bonds. And that, step 3, is what funds America's economic and military might. So by hosting US bases, these states weren't neutral at all. They were a key part of the financial engine of the whole war.
And this leads us to the fatal assumption. These incredible, shiny cities of glass and steel like Dubai, where, get this, 90% of the population are foreign workers, they were built on one core belief, that nobody would ever actually dare to attack them. The loyalty of the people there isn't to the country, it's to their employment visa.
And then, Iran shut the door. The Strait of Hormuz, this tiny 21-mile wide channel that carries 20% of the entire world's oil, they just closed it. And the result was immediate and absolutely catastrophic. Tanker traffic dropped by 81% in a single week. It's like the world's economic artery just got clamped shut.
So this brings us to the real core lesson of this whole scenario, the million-dollar mismatch. This is a story about asymmetric warfare and how a cheap, simple drone can literally bankrupt a superpower.
I mean, just look at this comparison. On one side, you've got Iran's Shahed drone. It costs what? Maybe 50 grand? And you can launch it from the back of a simple truck. On the other side, you have the US Patriot missile interceptor, $4 million per shot. And it needs this massive support system that you can literally see from space.
The economics of this are just insane. Because these drones are small and they fly low, you often need to fire 2, sometimes even 3 missiles just to guarantee you'll hit one. Think about that for a second. You are spending over $8 million to shoot down something that costs less than a new car. The math is completely, utterly unsustainable. Iran can pump out more of these drones in a month than America can build Patriot interceptors in an entire year.
The source material puts it perfectly. It says the American military is like a bodybuilder who's never actually been in a real fight, right? It was built for the Cold War to have the biggest, most expensive weapons to deter an enemy, not to actually fight a scrappy, low-cost war like this. The whole defense industry profits from insanely expensive weapons, not necessarily effective ones.
So here we are, 4 weeks in, and America finds itself completely trapped in a war of its own making, facing an impossible stalemate. The Iranian regime it wanted to destroy is now stronger than ever, and the global economy is just hemorrhaging money.
The whole situation boils down to this simple, brutal reality. America can't win, but America also can't leave. I mean, look at the options. They're both impossible. If America leaves, the Gulf states lose faith, the whole petrodollar system starts to crack, and the American empire is exposed as a bluff. But if it stays, it just bleeds millions of dollars every single day shooting down cheap drones while the world's economy spirals. And the end result of all this, the very regime they set out to shatter is now more unified and more ideological than ever before.
You know, it really brings to mind this powerful observation. An empire that was founded by war has to maintain itself by war. It's a cycle that's just incredibly difficult to escape.
Which leaves us with a final, kind of chilling thought. The entire American empire was built on a single idea. If you fear it, you will obey it. So, what happens when someone, somewhere, simply stops being afraid?